Hey, how goes it? My apologies, brother. It's been a week,
It's all good, man. I know it's been an exciting one, hasn't it?
dude, freaking incredible.
Yeah. What was it like getting that call from the UFC?
Man, so my manager, Jason House, shoots me a message on Wednesday, says, "Can you make weight next weekend?" And I'm like, "Yep, you already know." I knew that he wouldn't ask me anything like that for anything other than the UFC. So, I was immediately super hyped. I jump on Tapology and I start looking at this Seattle card, looking at the light heavyweights on the card, trying to figure out who could it be.
Yeah.
Um, and obviously Alonzo was not on this card, so I'm looking at like the Cercaria and Bukakis and Ebo and I'm thinking, man, I wonder who it could be. Who could it be? And then my manager he texts me and says they're offering you Alonzo Menafield next weekend in Seattle. And I'm like, wait, what? That's out of left field. But I was like, let's go, let's run it. They could have offered me King Kong if he's making, Islam I think said that if King Kong makes weight, bring this guy. That's kind of where I'm at in my career, man. You know what I mean?
Okay. So, I saw you at that peak fight,
Hmm.
PFC 41 in
Yep.
Oklahoma. I was there. I saw that. So, can you tell me a little bit about that fight against Myron Dennis?
Yeah, for sure. That was another short notice fight. I think it was actually the exact same level of short notice. I think it was like 10 days out. I had just fought, like I had literally fought, 3 weeks before that, and I actually it's funny actually. A buddy of mine sends me Myron's post about his original opponent pulling out, and my buddy was like, "Dude, you got to fight this guy. Like this is a he's a good name for your resume, and it's a guy that you can beat because he's not a great grappler." And I was like, okay, bet, let's go. So I immediately reached out to Peak. We got everything worked out. Went down there. Myron came out and he cracked me. But it was one of those really good learning experiences for me because he really exposed a really bad habit that I had going into that fight. And it's something I've worked pretty diligently on over the last couple months since then, just because ideally that sort of thing doesn't happen again. If Alonzo cracks me like Myron did, there's a very good chance the fight's over right then and there.
Right. Right. So, were you expecting to have to go down the Dana White Contender Series route? Because you called him out at the peak fight, didn't you?
Yeah. I said, Dana, I don't know what you want me to do, but I'll keep on keeping on. I That's kind of what I thought. I thought I would have to win a couple more fights on the regional scene in the early part of the year, and then I thought I would have to do Contender Series in the fall, and then maybe potentially get a shot at the UFC at the end of the year. But things move fast in this sport, and I get asked to come out here on 9-10 days notice, make weight and fight, and like I said, there was no way in hell I was going to say no.
Okay. Is there any added pressure to this, being that it's a UFC call, short notice?
Um, on some level, yeah, I think, but I think for me, it's one of those things where it's like I don't really have a lot to lose in this fight as long as I go out there, make weight, and give it my all. I don't think I have a lot to lose. I'm coming to win, so I'm coming. I'm coming to get the victory. I feel like it's a fight where a lot of guys get called up and they over respect their opponent. And I think if Alonzo's one of those guys, if you show him too much respect and you let him bully you, he will.
Yeah.
So I feel like I got to take it to him and show the UFC what I'm made of and prove to them that I'm a good guy for them to keep around and prove to them that I can entertain people because the guys that entertain people and do what they're supposed to do, they get treated even better. You know what I mean? And the UFC takes care of all of us after actually coming out here and getting and seeing what the experience is like. The level that we're taken care of is pretty impressive in my opinion. This has been the easiest like fight week process, especially with making weight. The amount of help you get with making weight from the PI and everything is really cool.
Yeah.
But I just feel like it's one of those things where it's like I just need to go out there, give it my all. At the end of the day, it is just another fight, and it's funny. I see all these people saying I haven't fought anybody. It's like, dude, the people I fought on the regional scene are just about as good as you can fight on the regional scene. Like, you don't get a lot. It's not hard. It's pretty hard to fight people that are better than Ultimate Fighter or UFC and Glory kickboxing veterans on the regional scene. So I'm not incredibly. I'm kind of past the point of overbuilding up these guys in my head. We're all humans.
Yeah. I think people need to see that last fight you had too to realize the level of entertainment there, because it was good for as long as it lasted. It was awesome to see in person. So
Right. I hit a little chicken dance, but then we got it under control.
yeah, it was good. That whole night was really good. Honestly, peak fighting it as a whole. That entire card was really good.
Are you from out there in Tulsa?
No, I'm from Arkansas, and I went out there to do media coverage. That was
Nice.
my first time going out there, so it's all kind of rolling in together. It's pretty dope going
Yeah,
from
one of
city.
my one of my old roommates lives in Fort Smith.
Oh,
So I go to Fort Smith here and there.
yeah, it's about 2 hours from me.
Yeah, I go train down there. They've got some nice stuff going on down there.
Right. So on Tapology, your foundation style says ninja shit. Where does that
Yep,
come
man. So I was a big Diaz brothers fan. And if you can remember back to when Nate went to fight Connor, I can't remember if it was the first or the second time, but whenever those fights were happening, I was a high schooler, and I was already really big into MMA, but that at that point I was hardly even watching the NBA anymore. Kobe retired. Kobe was my favorite player. The Lakers sucked. I'm a Lakers fan. So I really started diving into MMA, and I remember Nate Diaz gives this interview. They ask him what his game plan is for Conor McGregor, and he says, "I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna hit. I'm gonna not get hit, and I'm gonna try to go do some ninja shit." So from there, I was like, "Man, that shit's cool." So I found out pretty early on in my amateur career that you can claim your Tapology. So you can get on your Tapology and edit it if you're a fighter. You can go on there and claim it and edit it, put pictures on there, and do all that stuff.
from?
So I went on there and I made my style ninja shit because I thought it would be funny. And it's funny because that was like 3.5, 4 years ago. And I haven't heard nobody ever said anything about it. But now that ever since I've been in the UFC for the last week, that's been one of the main things people have been. So I see your style's ninja shit. I'm like, shit, yeah.
That's too funny. That's good stuff. So where did the nickname Juice Box come from?
Man, so that one, I played basketball in college, and my college coach is an older guy. He started calling me Juice, just because he said I looked like young OJ. At the time, I was clean shaven. I was a little baby boy, was clean shaven and had a little baby fro. So my college basketball coach started calling me Juice, and then all my teammates added on all of the variations. They started calling me Juice Box and Juice Bucket and Juice Barrel and all this stuff. So whenever I went into MMA, at that point in my life, by the time I went into MMA, everybody called me Juice. Like literally, like it had. I never even heard Julius anymore. But so then I was like, Juice Box is probably pretty brandable, so I'm gonna go with that.
I mean, it sounds good too. I mean, I made a edit for you earlier and posted it on Facebook, and it's a Juice Box style and everything. It's pretty dope.
No,
You
that
might
one
be,
was freaking elite.
yeah. So who do you think is an easy matchup for you in this division stylistically? Have you looked at anybody after this?
I am usually pretty up to date with almost everybody in the division. There's definitely some good fights for me in the division. I don't think Tokos makes it around much longer. But that's a pretty smooth fight for me. Marcin Prachnio, you know what I mean? That's another guy I'm pretty confident I would take out. There's quite a few guys in the division I would enjoy fighting. Honestly, I wouldn't be against fighting Izzy's boy, Sterling. That guy he's got some really good striking, but I think that the wrestling could be tested a bit with him. But that he could also, who knows, that guy might end up being, there's not a lot of tape on him. He's another guy that's a little bit of a mystery, but I'm interested in a lot of these guys for sure. Whoever they ask me to fight, I'll fight.
So the plan is to stay in the UFC. Did you end up signing a multi-fight contract?
Yep, I did get a multi-fight deal, so hopefully, God willing, you know what I mean. I get some fights in, and then hopefully we can get that thing renewed and really solidify myself in the UFC.
Cool. All right, I got one more thing. We're gonna do a blind ranking.
Oh, let's go!
All
I
right.
freaking love these, dude. I do these on TikTok all the time. This is one of
Okay.
literally my favorite things to do.
All right. So we're gonna go Carlos Ulberg.
Am I going 1 to 5?
5.
Okay, Olberg, we're gonna put him at 4.
Okay. Khalil Roundtree.
5,
All right. Jamal Hill.
3,
All right. Magomed Ankalaev.
2,
All right. Alex Pereira.
1. I was like, please give me Pereira.
Pereira. All right. We're gonna make that a little TikTok thing, so you'll see that on there.
Beautiful,
That's
dude.
funny.
I freaking love TikTok. I love that shit, dude. I love these blind rankings things so much. My wife taught me how to do them because I'm kind of the old dumbass, even though I'm 25, and she taught me how to do. She taught me how to do the blind ranking thing, and dude, I love those things so freaking much. Blind ranking food and donuts and movies and God knows what.
The first one I did with Mike Grundy, I messed up and I said all 5 names at once because I didn't know what a blind ranking was. But it was all my stuff to do for the interview. And so he was talking about doing it again and doing a blind rankings for you, and I was like, blind rankings? I was like, oh god. I think it
Oh
turned
my
out all
lord!
right. So we'll see how that goes.
Right?
And I think that's everything I got for you. And look forward to seeing you again this weekend, even though it won't be live, but we will be rooting for you. So good
Yes,
luck, man.
sir. I appreciate you big time. We're
I
gonna take
appreciate
it to him.
it. Yes, sir. I'm glad to see it. Good luck to you.
Appreciate you, man.